Hey, good morning. It's a Monday morning drive. My name's Jason, if you don't know who I am, but if you're watching this, you probably do, because I'm broadcasting it on the old fan page. I hope that you all had a nice week, good weekend, and if you're watching this on the replay, go ahead and subscribe so you get the updates. You get to watch this thing in real time. Got a new microphone today, and apparently my little magnetic thing on the back of this phone is about ready to fall off. So if we lose this camera like mid-recording, it's my fault. I'm going to accept responsibility for it. But anyway, so what do I want to talk to you about? Well, I want to follow up on one of the things that I made a post earlier in the week, because this last week I was at a conference called Freedom Fest, where I was the MC of the event, and I was talking with a lot of people while I was there. People stop you and they're like, hey, they were very nice to me. They a lot of people coming up saying, hey, you're doing a great job, which I always find funny, because I feel like it's the easiest job in the world. You just get on stage and introduce people, and for some reason I managed to make it look difficult. But they were very kind, and we had a good time, and the guys who run the event were all really nice about to me and treated me well. One of the questions I got repeatedly was, so how'd you get hooked up with the guys at Freedom Fest? Like, is this what you do? Is this your job, is going around and emceeing events? And I said, well, no. Like, I've never emceed anything in my entire life, and I don't actually know how I got hooked up with the guys who host the event. They called me, and they asked me if I could do it, and the timing worked out, and so I said I'd be happy to. I'll come up. Did I misspell it? Thanks, Phil. I'll fix it later. And so I ended up on stage in front of 2,000 people, introducing guests and talking with, doing interviews, giving interviews to people, and it's one of those things where I think it's the difference between a commodity and a brand. So when you're a brand, people find you, and I imagine they probably found me through my podcast or something like that. That's the way typically people do kind of come into contact with you, or saw videos online or something. But the point is when you are a commodity, and this is true whether you're selling coffee or you're selling real estate. Okay? When you choose to make yourself a commodity, you are essentially at the mercy of the market. And when I say choose to make yourself a commodity, it is a choice. It's a choice for you to do that. So let me give you an example. First, let's define what a brand is. Okay. A brand is really nothing more than a unique promise of value. And so when we start talking in terms of brands, and you as a brand, we're really discussing, how are you a unique promise of value? What is it that you offer that is different or special, or that they can only get because they're with you? And if you can't answer that question, then you need to do some work. There's actually a lot of work that needs to be done if you're going to be able to define yourself. Because if not, you're left as being nothing more than a commodity of one in a million, competing on price, trying to create some sort of unique selling proposition out of out of the unique offering that you might have, or something like that. But without you, there's nothing. Okay, you're just one of many. And this is true for virtually any industry at all that you're in. And despite what people may think, a lot of people say, well, I'm business to business. I'm versus, business to business versus consumer to consumer, or something like that. Here's what I'll tell you. There's no B2C or B2B. You're not business to consumer or business to business. All business is just people to people. They buy less of what you're selling and more of you. Right? So if they need what you're offering, if they have a unique need or desire for it, then one of the things that determines what they're going to spend and where they're going to go is entirely dependent upon who you are. And the crazy thing about it is that price doesn't really matter. This is a misconception that people, I offer basically the same thing, so why would somebody come to me and pay double rather than somebody else? They will all day. In fact, they'll pay triple, quadruple, sometimes 5x what the other guy is offering because they know that you're the one they're getting. And when you create that level of brand, that level of affinity, that level of trust and likability in the people that you're trying to attract, all of a sudden the buying process becomes, or the selling process, becomes infinitely easier for you. You don't have to do all the legwork that you see everybody else doing, and all of the competing on the price and trying to justify you versus the other guy. There's just none of that. It's like, well, you can have me or you cannot have me. I mean, that was really the conversation that I had with the guys at Freedom Fest. They called and said, would I be interested? And they told me what was involved and what the compensation package would be. And essentially I said, well, here's what I can do. Here's what I cannot do. Take it or leave it. And they said, okay, we'll take it. And again, that's not something that I got on the phone to try and close. That's something that just fell in my lap. And so, I mean, I don't know what questions you guys have about this related specifically to personal brand, but I got about 10 minutes here on the drive, and I thought I would just talk with you guys a little bit about that. Probably the clearest example of someone who turned a commodity into a brand was Howard Schultz from Starbucks. You guys know him. I mean, there's nothing more commoditized on this planet than coffee. And he was able to take what at the time was selling for 50 cents a cup and charge, $2 for it. Pretty amazing conversion. And that's because he turned what was typically a commodity and said, well, what we offer is something uniquely different, something that you can't get anywhere else, and so you shouldn't even try. And if you want what we've got, then you have to pay this much money. And what happened was, because people went to him and started paying that kind of money, it became a sense of status that people had, that they wanted to be associated with Schultz and with the brand. Not necessarily so much Schultz, but with the brand. Sorry, this camera keeps jacking up on me. And so, how do you do this? So how do you begin to build this type of affinity and this type of brand in your industry? Well, it's not a complicated process. It's a relatively simple thing to do, but it's not an easy or a fast thing. Okay, establishing brand and creating trust in a market takes time, but if done correctly, it never goes away. So the first step is gaining attention. Okay? You gain attention a variety of ways. You gain attention by putting out, one of the easiest ways to do it, the freest way to do it, is just to put content like this online all the time. All the time. Now you may think, oh, that's what 50,000 other people are doing. It's okay. There's lots of business to go around. And most people are really lazy about it. Most people will do it for a few weeks or for a few months. But they won't do it month after month after month, year after year, talking about what they do and teaching other people how to do it too. You don't have to be that good. This is what people misunderstand, is that you don't have to be that good. More than anything, all you got to do is be consistent. Just do it. So if I say, hey, every Monday I'm going to do the Monday morning drive and I'm going to talk to you guys for 20 minutes on my, on the 10 here, on the way to Culver City, then I do it. And I come here and talk to you for 10 or 20 minutes about something that has to do with what I teach and what I know about. And you can either, you can know consistently that, oh, on Monday morning, Jason's going to do that. I do a show 3 days a week from a podcast. I've been doing it for like 5 years now. Consistently. Used to be 5 days a week. We've cut it down to 3 just because efficiency. I can't get anything else done. And so we cut it down to 3 days a week. But every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I'm going to be in studio recording that. Have been for years and years and years. Most people don't have that kind of discipline. They won't do it. So you don't got to be better. I guess you don't got to be that good to get things done. All right, my phone is continuing to fall down, so I'm going to have to fix this later and get back with you guys. But anyway, that's it. I guess that's the Monday morning drive for this week because my phone is retarded. And I will get back at you guys, next Monday. The show's going on today. Just a typical show in studio. I know kind of what I want to talk about, but we'll find out in, a few minutes what we're going to talk about. That launches at 10, And still got the 2-day intensive, the branding and communication workshop. BecomeTheIcon.com. Go check it out. And hey, I see that Kevin Daly's watching. What's up, Gunny? He's probably not a Gunny anymore. So, the greatest Irishman I ever worked for in the Marines, when I was a 3rd Recon Battalion, Kevin Daly, Gunnery Sergeant Kevin Daly at the time, is on watching this thing. And for what I can tell now, Daly goes around the country drinking beer and partying with his old Marine Corps buddies, which sounds like a pretty effing awesome job if you ask me. But I don't know what you're doing, brother. But I just want you to know, major impact on my life, and couldn't be happier for you. If you ever need anything, let me know. And for the rest of you guys, I'll be back in studio a little later on today, and after that, we got the 2-day conference. So go check that out. BecomeTheIcon.com. Talk to you guys later.